Salutations and welcome to Tea Talks. I'm Sifu Eric Hermansen. Today's topic is going to be some insights and teachings that I've learned from the head Shaolin master of Temple Europe, Shaolin Temple Europe, Shi Heng Yi. I've got some notes here so I don't miss anything. If you haven't been turned on to Shi Heng Yi, you should tune in. I started learning from him when he did the TED Talks several years ago now. His original TED Talks was on clarity and the 5 hindrances to clarity. Tune into that one, check it out on TED Talks. Okay, so as I said, I've been learning from Shi Heng Yi, Sifu Shi Heng Yi, since I got turned on to that TED Talks. And when I told him that he advanced my Kung Fu training, changed my training, he asked me in what way. To which I replied quickly, the philosophy. I tune into him for the philosophy that I'm learning. And his response was, the backbone. The backbone to Kung Fu, the backbone to this art. These philosophies. Indeed, the backbone. It's his belief, and I concur. My belief also that to fully be complete in the art of Kung Fu, one must learn these philosophies and be virtuous and seek self-mastery, be present and one with nature. There are tools that guide you to oneness of mind, body, and spirit. The breath is the path inward, and so breath work, or Qi Kung, and meditation are used as tools to accomplish this. Kung Fu San Soo, taught here in America, is pretty much principally a powerful, effective, brutal combat fighting system. It's complete in fighting application. I feel probably the Grand Master, being in a foreign country, the philosophies that are taught in China, the 3 influences would be Confucianism, the isms, right? Everybody's afraid of isms. The Confucianism, which is kind of the order of society. If your house is in order, then the village is in order and society's in order. And Taoism, which represents to me that they observe nature, over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, living in nature, being farmers. They didn't have light pollution back then, and you could see the stars, and you were more involved in nature, and so they learned from nature. I think that parallels the Native Americans in a lot of ways. I take a bit from the Western Native American and then the Eastern Taoist. So then finally would be Buddhism, or Zen Buddhism, more appropriate. At least as far as I know, much of this philosophy wasn't really taught. It's mostly fighting, and that's mostly what everybody's interested in, myself included. But eventually you've got to grow beyond that and develop some self-mastery and go inside and learn about yourself, and then you can know about others as well. And if you abide by these virtues, like discipline, righteousness, kindness, compassion, and you complete yourself much deeper. So the Chinese philosophy here in the West is considered by many to be anti-Christian and even demonic, with its dragons, mysticism, yin and yang symbols. It must be of the devil himself, and to study it will mean a trip to the fiery depths of hell. So I imagine being a foreigner in another country surrounded by prejudice, you keep your philosophy to yourself. But like it or not, Kung Fu San Soo, Five Family Toi Lei Ho, Foot Hung, is an ancient Chinese art from China, influenced by the three isms, the three philosophies, Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism, Zen Buddhism. So, a story, I started these Facebook forums. It was disturbing to see the art of San Soo being destroyed, being mixed with other things and weakened, not understood properly. They didn't know what they didn't have all the answers, some of the teachers, so they just mixed in other things on their own. And you don't want to see the demise of something that took hundreds and hundreds of years to create. So I have the Masters Forum, there's 70 or so, a lot of first generation, and an idea of come up with the precepts. How do you define an art, right? And then the Disciples Forum, which is, I don't know, close to 600 now, was meant more, the idea was the disciples could ask questions of the Master Forum, and then we could all coalesce some answers and give them some answers to keep the purity or the understanding of the way it was taught to us by the Grand Master that was passed down in his family 5 generations. So it's always good to go to the source to learn. So I was asked to join a teachers group, older guys, and when I started these other groups, kind of put a pebble in the pond, and all of a sudden had all these people wanting to be friends on Facebook, and I just put an end to it. I could have gone over 5,000, but what was the point? A lot of these people, South America and the jiu-jitsu, are just a big bubble that, thing that happens. I'm more concerned about my art and keep the purpose of keeping it intact. So anyways, I was asked to join this group, but I had one condition. I wasn't allowed to mention yin and yang or qi or anything like that, because they considered it sacrilegious. My opinion is nobody's pushing any religion on you. These are philosophies, and they're really ancient philosophies about dealing with the world and dealing with people and yourself. And so there's no harm in I don't think you're going to go to the fiery depths of hell for learning some philosophies. And a lot of it, has to do with the fighting. The principle use the principle of yin and yang, counterbalance. Hit them high, hit them low. Show them this and you hit them with that. It just goes on and on. So I'm here to say what Sifu Shi Heng Yi teaches, and that is no one is pushing religion on you. It has nothing to do with religion. You are free to believe whatever you want. And so that's exactly the way I look at it too. Nobody's pushing religion. These are philosophies and ideas, and a lot of them are based on kindness and compassion and things like this. So they're non-conflictive. And I also understood that the ancient books that our Grandmaster Chin Sudek inherited, that went back to the Kuan Yin Monastery, which, by the way, is the goddess of mercy. And so this deadliest art on earth came from the goddess of mercy monastery. Is that ironic? No, it's the full picture. So these ancient books contained a lot of healing arts, healing aspects, from what I understand from talking to some of these first generation masters and whatnot. A lot of that, that's the yin and the yang to it. There's a healing side as well. We got a lot of the great fighting techniques, but I don't know how much else was taught in that regard because of religion. So you got to look at things from both sides. It's not just day or night, it's night and day at the same time, right? Front, back, yin and yang. So when I got my wilderness first responder certificate, that I felt way more balanced, because I've been studying breaking arms and things and fighting for years and decades. But to get to know how to heal and fix a compound fracture and reset it, or a dislocated arm, or it definitely adds a balance to it. So besides being a protective warrior, you're a healer. So to sum it up, you can know fighting skills, but to become a complete warrior, you need to know yourself inside and out. Stay humble, open to learning, growing, and becoming the best version of yourself. That's, every day. Becoming the best version of yourself helps those around you that you love and care about. It's not really a selfish endeavor. I've incorporated the Qi Kung, or breath exercises, that I'm learning from the revered Sifu Shi Heng Yi, and I'm incorporating those into my classes at the Dragon's Lair Fighting School. I'm here now in Northridge, and I recommend you get it from the source. You subscribe to Master Shi Heng Yi, watch his YouTubes. He's a really hip cat. He's really brilliant. He knows how to explain things in a clear way of communicating, and he's helped me immensely. The backbone of philosophy of the art of Kung Fu. Best to get your knowledge straight from the source. I invite you to join me in practicing in these Kung Fu sets as well. And that's my tea talk today. I had an incredible time learning from the master. He brought me up on stage and demonstrated his ability to tap in, basically, to I would say, like, my nervous system, or we're all built of electrical fields. He has that ability to, from the mind, with intention, puts his hands on you, can be braced strong, not try to not be moved, right? He can try to move you with physical strength, and then he moves you with this internal control of energy, let's say, that he has, and Qi is another word for energy, and it circulates through our body, and where you bring the blood, you brought the Qi, right? The breath, the Qi, the life force. And so, not to get confusing or psychobabbly about it, and he's said that the same way, it's not magic. It's just really being in tune with yourself. And we're so alienated with our own bodies and mind, it seems. And they've through years and years, I've been able to be able to tap into somebody's like frequency, and I experienced it. I felt the energy coming into me, and then to the point where it moved me back. And it's not like these videos you see where the guy's over here and the students fall all around him. That's hogwash. But there is something definitely that you can tap into and become aware of. That's what his mission is, to try to spread that around so people can have that clarity as well. So it's a great journey. Kung Fu is a great journey. And I would just say always keep a beginner's mind, and keep learning and keep training. It doesn't do you well to train once or twice a week and think you're getting everything in those 2 days or a couple hours out of class. It's just, it has to come into your life as basically as a habit, as a pattern, and that's when you start to grow. So I'll leave you with that. Salute.
Get in touch with your inner warrior and learn the ancient Chinese fighting art of Kung Fu Sansu. This powerful martial art will help you improve your health, self-defense skills, and confidence. Our experienced instructor, Master Eric K. Hermansen, welcomes students of all skill levels, ages, and abilities. Don't miss out on this unique opportunity to learn from the best. Visit kungfusansumaster.com to sign up for classes today.